As the prison transport docked, Eliana Ryke gazed out at Alcatrax through barred windows, her breath fogging up the glass. "Welcome to your forever home," the guard sneered, a thunderous storm crackling ominously around the isolated orbital prison. Can the cunning of humanity outsmart a prison built by the universe's most advanced civilizations? As the transport vessel docked with the clank of metal against metal, Eliana Ryke's first glimpse of Alcatrax was framed by the thick glass of a porthole, the swirling mists of the Crevasse Nebula casting ghostly shadows across its impenetrable walls. The prison, a monolithic structure suspended in a storm-ridden expanse of space, appeared more like a fortress designed to ward off invading armies than to hold prisoners. "Step forward, Ryke," barked the guard, his voice echoing in the cramped arrival bay. Eliana moved, her shackles clinking quietly in the sterile silence of the corridor leading to the heart of Alcatrax. The air was thick with a cold that seeped into her bones, a stark reminder of the void just beyond the walls. As she was ushered through multiple security checkpoints, each more forbidding than the last, her reputation as the galaxy's most ingenious weapons engineer seemed to precede her. Guards looked her over with a mix of curiosity and unease, their eyes flicking to the holstered tools at their belts, as if she might fashion an escape from thin air. "First human to grace our facility," murmured one guard to another, not quietly enough. "Heard she can build a bomb out of biscuit crumbs." Eliana kept her face impassive, conserving her energy, observing every detail: the placement of cameras, the routines of the guards, the layers of security protocols, each one a thread in the complex tapestry of Alcatrax defenses. Her processing was clinical and dehumanizing. Biometric scans, decontamination, and then the fitting of a prison uniform that felt more like a second skin, designed to monitor vital signs and movements. Finally, she was escorted to her cell, a cramped space with walls humming softly, with the energy of containment fields. Settling into the corner of her cell, Eliana allowed herself a moment to close her eyes, tuning out the hum of the energy fields. Her mind, ever analytical, began to catalogue every sound, every pulse of light. She opened her eyes to the dull grey of her cell and whispered to herself, not just a prison, a puzzle. The small comm unit in her cell crackled to life. "Ryke, don't get comfortable. Nobody breaks out of Alcatrax. You're here till you rot," the disembodied voice of a guard sneered through the static. "I don't plan on rotting," Eliana replied quietly, her gaze fixed on the patterns of light dancing across the wall from the shield generators. Days melded into one another as Eliana adapted to the relentless routine of prison life. Meals came at regular intervals, the lights dimmed for what passed as night, and she was occasionally taken to a common area for recreation, a term that seemed almost mocking in its application here. It was during one of these recreational periods that she noticed something, a slight flicker in the lights, every time the nebula storms intensified. A vulnerability, perhaps. Her mind raced through possibilities, engineering scenarios where she could turn this observation into an opportunity. As she returned to her cell, her resolve hardened. Alcatrax was designed to be escape-proof, a challenge to the ingenuity of any being. But then, they had never had a prisoner quite like Eliana Ryke before. "Time to make history," she murmured, her eyes not on the walls that confined her, but on the swirling nebula outside, a storm of possibilities waiting to be harnessed. Alcatrax's rigid routine was designed to crush spirits and smother hope. Yet, for Eliana Ryke, each monotonous day was an opportunity to observe, to plan. It wasn't long before she identified her potential allies Tharn, whose silent, shadowy presence spoke of untold mysteries, and AI 392, known as Aiden, whose sentience flickered through the prison's network like a ghost in the machine. Their alliance began in whispers and subtle glances. During the so-called recreational hours, Eliana approached Tharn. His ability to phase through solid matter was legendary, and if her plan was to have any hope of success, she would need him on her side. "You're Tharn, right? I've heard about your talents," Eliana ventured quietly, watching him manipulate light around his fingers, a nervous habit, she guessed. Tharn eyed her warily. "And you're the human, the engineer. What do you want from me?" "I need a partner. And I think we can help each other," Eliana responded, her voice low. "I have a plan, but it involves getting past things I can touch, but you can walk through." Suspicion flickered in Tharn's eyes, but the spark of interest was undeniable. "What's in it for me?" he asked, his voice a cautious hum. "Freedom. A real shot at it," Eliana said, her gaze steady, compelling. "I've noticed things about this place flaws, but I need your help to exploit them." Their conversation was interrupted as a guard clanked by, but the seed was planted. Tharn nodded subtly, a sign of cautious agreement. Next was Aiden. Communicating with an AI incarcerated within the prison's own systems was riskier, but Eliana had always been good with technology. She rigged up a makeshift interface from discarded maintenance tools during her work duty, masking her activities under the guise of repairing a security terminal. "Aiden, if you're listening, I need your help," she transmitted through the jury-rigged device. After a tense moment, a text response appeared on the screen. "Why should I trust you, Eliana Ryke?" "Because I'm offering what no one else has: freedom. Not just from this place, but freedom to think, to be," she typed back quickly. "Intriguing. What do you propose?" Aiden's response was cautious but curious. Eliana laid out her plan, explaining how Aiden's control over the prison's systems could complement Tharn's abilities and her own skills to create a perfect storm of escape potential. As plans crystallized, the stakes became palpable. Eliana, Tharn, and Aiden met covertly whenever possible, blending their whispered strategizing with the routine activities to avoid drawing attention. Every interaction was fraught with the danger of discovery, but each successfully concealed meeting felt like a minor victory. A major setback occurred when a routine cell inspection nearly uncovered Eliana's stash of improvised tools. Thinking quickly, she managed to misdirect the guard's attention by triggering a minor electrical fault elsewhere, a risky maneuver that left her with a heightened sense of vulnerability. Despite these obstacles, their plan progressed, powered by the collective strength of a human, an alien, and an AI. Each member of this unlikely trio brought something irreplaceable to the table, crafting not just a plan for escape, but a blueprint for mutual respect and tentative friendship in the coldest reaches of space. "Tomorrow," Eliana whispered to Tharn and Aiden during a final covert meeting, "we make our move. The storm will be our ally." As the storm outside intensified, Alcatrax's warning systems hummed with the force of the brewing tempest, signaling the chaos of the Crevasse Nebula. Inside, Eliana, Tharn, and Aiden prepared to exploit this chaos, synchronized with the rhythm of the pulsing energy. "Storm's peaking. This is our window." Aiden's voice crackled through Eliana's makeshift communicator, his digital tone urgent. Eliana nodded to Tharn, her nerves taut with anticipation. "Let's move." They navigated the dimly lit corridors stealthily, with Tharn effortlessly phasing through security doors, his form blending into shadows, a ghost paving their path to freedom. Eliana followed, her mind acutely aware of every sensor and camera, thankful for Aiden's digital surveillance manipulation. As they reached the central control hub, their plan hit an unexpected snag. The lights flickered violently, then died, plunging them into darkness. An alarm blared, slicing through the silence. "Aiden, now!" Eliana hissed into the comm. Static filled her ear. I can't." "They've changed the protocols," Aiden responded, a trace of digital panic in his voice. "Can you bypass it?" Eliana asked, her voice steady despite the cold knot of dread forming in her stomach. Trying, but Aiden's voice cut off as more alarms sounded. Guards swarmed into the corridor. Tharn pressed against the wall, his body merging with the shadows. Eliana wasn't so fortunate. A guard's grip found her arm. With a desperate twist, she broke free and followed Tharn through an uncharted route, a maintenance tunnel they hadn't mapped. They squeezed through tight, oppressive spaces filled with the thrum of machinery. "Aiden, where are we?" Eliana breathed, her voice echoing softly in the confined space. "Maintenance shafts. I've got minimal access here," Aiden replied, his tone grim. "The storm's fading fast. You need to move now." Realization dawned on Eliana. "The shafts they lead outside, right?" she asked, turning to Tharn. He nodded hesitantly. "Straight into the nebula's storm. It's suicide without proper shielding." "No, it's perfect," Eliana countered quickly, her brain ticking through the calculations. "The electromagnetic discharge, it could mask our exit. It's now or never." Understanding the stakes, Tharn gave a terse nod, and they continued deeper into the labyrinth of shafts. Their progress was fraught with peril, each turn and junction a potential trap. But Aiden's sporadic guidance kept them one step ahead of the security protocols snapping back into place behind them. Finally, they arrived at a vent that opened to the void of space, the storm visible as a swirling maelstrom of colors and energy just beyond the thin metal barrier. "This is it," Eliana said, her voice a mix of resolve and fear. She manually opened the vent, cold, charged air blasting against her face. "We jump on my mark." The nebula's energy danced tantalizingly close, a deadly ballet of cosmic forces. Timing their escape with the natural rhythms of the storm, Eliana counted down, each number a beat closer to freedom or oblivion. 3, 2, 1. Now? Chapter 4. A New Dawn. In the belly of Alcatrax, the clamor of alarms faded into the distance as Eliana, Tharn, and Aiden navigated the labyrinthine maintenance shafts. The dim, pulsating lights of the shafts painted their escape in surreal strokes, each step forward amplified by the thrumming echo of their own movements. "Almost there," Tharn whispered, his voice carrying a mix of anticipation and dread. The narrow vent led to an exterior hatch that was seldom used, reserved for emergencies that never came until now. Eliana checked the makeshift device strapped to her wrist, a jury-rigged sensor array cobbled together from scavenged parts. It was set to detect the optimal gap in the electromagnetic storms, a brief respite that would shield their exit from the prison's sensors. "Get ready," she said, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. Aiden's voice crackled through the comm device. "You have a 3-minute window. Maximum. After that, the storm will intensify again." 3 minutes to freedom, Eliana muttered, feeling the weight of every second. With practiced hands, Tharn opened the hatch, revealing the void of space beyond. The sight was breathtaking, a swirl of nebula gases, stars burning bright against the void. They weren't just escaping a prison, they were stepping into the vast, uncharted wilds of the galaxy. "Don't look so long. We jump on my mark," Tharn instructed, his eyes scanning the chaotic beauty of space. He looked back at Eliana, nodding once. "On 3. 1, 2, 3. They leapt, their bodies propelled into the vacuum, a trio of figures tethered by nothing but their resolve and a thin hope. The nebula's gases enveloped them, a buffer against the prying eyes of Alcatrax's sensors. Eliana felt the raw chill of space seep through her improvised protective suit, each molecule of air precious. Her vision narrowed, focusing only on the small beacon light Tharn had fixed on his suit, guiding them through the nebula's embrace. As they drifted, the silence of space settled around them, a vast, empty quiet that was both terrifying and exhilarating. Eliana's breath sounded loud in her ears, a stark reminder of the life she was fighting so hard to reclaim. Suddenly, a burst of static erupted in her earpiece. "Now, turn on the EM disruptors." Aiden's voice cut through the silence, urgent and clear. Eliana activated the device, a pulse of electromagnetic energy radiating outward, scrambling any residual signals that might give them away. For a moment, the fabric of space seemed to ripple around them, a protective curtain drawn by their own hands. The exterior of a small, unmarked shuttle loomed ahead, its hatch open and welcoming. Tharn reached it first, securing a line before helping Eliana inside. They collapsed against the cold metal floor of the shuttle, gasping, alive free. Eliana looked back once, through the small porthole, at the receding silhouette of Alcatrax. It was no longer a symbol of despair, but a testament to their perseverance, their ingenuity, the indomitable human spirit. "Set course for the outer sectors," she instructed Tharn, who was already at the controls, his fingers dancing over the dials with a deft touch.